webinars. This lesson is about the echo letters in much more detail. Objectives: to understand what the echo or qalqala letters are, to understand the different intensities of the echoes that can be applied and when they are actually applied. So, the echo letters. So in Arabic, the term used is al-qalqala. 5 of the alphabet letters are known as the qalqala letters, or what we call in English generally the echo letters. Sometimes they're referred to as shaking, not necessarily the shaking letters, but the term qalqala implies shaking. Now, the reason they're called the echo letters, so I'm going to read this. This is because you cannot complete the letter's sound with sakin. So remember, this echo occurs with certain letters when they are read as sakin. When bringing the different parts of the mouth together. So when you read these echo letters, when they're sakin, you cannot complete the sound of the letter with sakin when you bring the parts of your mouth, throat, etc. together. The sound must be completed by separation of the parts of the mouth. I'll explain this in a minute. So a light echo sound is produced when the separation takes place. So first we'll cover the actual letters. The 5 letters which give a slight echo sound when they are sakin are shown below. Okay, so I'll just bring those up. And I've got a note here, we will show them in light blue when an echo is required. So these are the 5 letters. So you can remember them as qa, ta, ja, da, ba. And we've put the sukoon on all of them to indicate the echo happens when they are sakin. Now remember, this can happen when they actually carry a sukoon, or you're stopping or pausing at the end of a sentence, or even in the middle of a sentence, and it happens that one of these 5 letters are at the end of the word and you have to make them sakin. Okay, so remember, these are qa, ta, ja, da, ba. If you remember that, that's an easy way to remember it. So here we have a simple example. So we've got the sound of aq. Now if you try to say this, you go aq, okay, and you try to say it without an actual echo, you'll find the top of your back of your throat and the back of your tongue come together when you make the aq sound. Now in order to get the proper sound of the qaf to come out, you have to separate, so you have to actually say aq. Okay, now there's 2 reasons you have to actually apply the echo. One is because you can't really finish the sound of the qaf, and the second one is if you just say aq, it could be mistaken for the kaf. So there's a dual purpose going on with the echo. One is you cannot complete the sound without the echo, which is taking place because of the separation of the 2 parts of articulation. And the second is it helps us to stop confusing, especially with the qaf, confusing it with the kaf, and with the ta it will be to help us stop confusing it with the ta. Okay, so there's certain reasons for that. Now when you normally apply the sakin to any other letter apart from these 5, generally you do not need to separate the points of articulation, whether they're the lips, the tongue, or the throat. Okay, so these ones are slightly different. So again, this is pronounced as aq, and we purposely separate and make sure there's a slight echo on it. Now we covered these echo letters in one of the very early stages of reading, and we've practiced them through the practices, and we've had them highlighted in blue all along, so you should know how to pronounce them now already. However, we're now going to look at what we call intensities, because the intensity of the echo can change depending on certain scenarios, and there's 3 levels of intensity. So we'll look at the first. If the echo letter, when it's sakin, is in the middle of a word, then the intensity of the echo is what we call low, i.e. the lowest. If the echo letter is at the end of a word and it's going to be read as sakin, okay, so maybe you're doing a pause or you're stopping, then the echo must be medium. And if the echo letter is at the end of a word, and obviously you're stopping on that word or you're pausing on the word, and it happens that the echo letter also carries a shadda, but remember we're stopping, so it's going to be read as sakin, the intensity of the echo must be high, i.e. it must be very pronounced. So here I've drawn a slider showing the intensity. So again, in the middle of the word it's the lowest, at the end of the word if it's read as sakin it's medium, and at the end of a word where it's read as sakin and it carried a shadda before you made it sakin, then it goes to the highest level. So we'll do a small analysis. So the 3 intensities. So here's a word and we've got the letter ba, which is one of the qoto jadaba, i.e. the echo letters, and it's sakin, and it's in the middle of a sentence and we're not stopping. So this will be simply read as habalummi. Okay, so habalum, so the haba is just nice and very soft because it's in the middle of a word. Then we have the word here, so we've got kasaba and it's at the end of a sentence. So if we were to stop, the rule is the fatha is not read and the ba becomes sakin, so effectively it becomes echo. So in this case it's got to be a slightly higher intensity, so this will be kasab, kasab. And the last one here we have watabba, but if you're stopping at the end of the sentence you cannot read that last fatha, so the ba again becomes sakin, but remember it carries a shadda. So in this case it's going to be the highest intensity, so we'll say watab, watab. Okay, and the reason that you must do the high intensity when there's a shadda is otherwise you don't know there is a shadda there, or there was a shadda. If you look at the medium one, i.e. kasab, it would sound exactly the same. So the last one there with the shadda, the highest intensity, you intensify the echo on purpose so you know that there was a shadda that wasn't actually read. And again there's the slider showing the intensity. So we have the lowest in the middle, so haba, haba. Then we have a medium at the end when it does not carry a shadda, so kasab. And then we have the most intense where you've got the shadda to help us identify there was a shadda at the end, so watab. Okay, and the thing we've got to be careful of here is not to say on any of them watabba, because you don't want to turn that echo into a fatha. You've got to be very careful with that. So watab, watab. Okay, so slight echo must be audible, must be intense, but must not be converted into a fatha. So now a very good surah to check for this is the one called Masad, which is surah 111. So here I've put the surah out and I've got it from a color-coded Quran, and I've pointed out where we have the high, medium and low echoes. So on the first line here we've got the example I've just showed you, watab, which is again with shadda, you intensify it, so it'll be watab. The second one is at the end of a word, so it's going to be medium, no shadda, kasab. Third one, lahab. Fourth one, hatab. And then on the last line, if you have a look, we've got a low one because it's in the middle of the word, so it's haba. And then we've got a medium one again, masad, masad. Okay, so it's worth listening to this surah, and on the next slide I'm going to put the same slide up again, but we're going to listen to a professional reciter called Husayri, and listen very carefully to his recitation. It should take about a minute. He'll start with Bismillah or the Basmala, but I haven't put that in.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab. ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب سيصلى نارا ذات لهب وامرأته حمالة الحطب في جيدها حبل من مسد.
Conclusion. We understand what the echo letters are, and we now understand the different intensities of the echoes that can be applied and when they are applied.